For more on the shutdown and politics, we're bringing in our panel tonight. We have Democratic strategist and former New York State Senator David Carlucci and Republican strategist and former Florida congressional candidate, Amanda Mackey. Welcome both. Appreciate you being here. Amanda, why don't we start with you? Let's get your reaction to Senator Fetterman's comments there about the shutdown and how he says no one party is to blame. Do you agree?
Well, look, both sides are taking the heat, but I think the Republicans sound the most rational and logical when they say we have a 24-page bill. This is something that you've already voted on, not dissimilar from what we passed in the Biden administration. Why are you holding up the government hostage? And when unions come out in support of opening back up the government and are siding with Republicans, the optics are not good for Democrats. So while I will say that there is blame to go around, surely with the health care premiums that are coming out this week, November 1st, they already came out. People are concerned, but I think getting the government open is the first step. That's what Republicans have been strong on. And I think that's where American people are now saying, just open the government and then we can negotiate. That sounds like a good plan. We don't want to see what's happening at our airports. We don't want to see 42 million Americans not be able to have SNAP benefits. There's a lot of detrimental things that are happening, and this can all be avoided with the Democrats allowing the government to reopen.
David, do you agree the optics are bad for Democrats? We are nearing the record for the longest shutdown in American history.
No, I couldn't disagree more. Look, who is the president of the United States? Oh, wait, it's a Republican. Who's the speaker? It's a Republican. Who's the majority leader? It's a Republican in the Senate. But yet the Democrats are responsible. The Democrats are pulling the only lever of power that they have, and that is an opportunity not to put their votes towards something they disagree with. They have cried and yelled about the fact that premiums are going to rise for millions of Americans. Millions more Americans will lose their health care benefits. And what this president has constantly said, he's against Obamacare. In fact, he has concepts of an idea of what health care would look like. He hasn't told any of us what that is. So we're going to cede any power we have to negotiate down the road when there has been no sign, no willingness to negotiate. And look, blaming the Democrats is absurd. The Republicans have just as much, but more responsibility in this, and they could open up the government if they agreed to negotiate. And negotiate for what? To make sure that people don't go hungry, to make sure that people have health care, to make sure that someone can catch a flight on time. I mean, the list goes on. And to think that the art of the deal, the guy that wrote the book, who claims that he is all about negotiating, he can run around the world, make all these deals, but can't make a deal in our own country to keep the government open.
All right, let's get back over to Amanda. I see Amanda smiling there. I want to get your response. And also, I want to bring in this data. We do see new polling from News Nation and Decision Desk HQ showing President Trump's approval rating has gone down since April to 41% approval. To what do you attribute these numbers?
Well, first things first, the president has absolutely nothing to do with this government shutdown. If Congress can't get the Democrats to vote on a bill, what is the president going to do? They have said, the Republicans are saying, we will work with you on this issue, on any issue you want, but we have to open up the government. You can't keep us hostage and say we want this, that, and the other. Otherwise, we're not opening up the government. You're playing politics with American people's lives. And that's where I think the Democrats are going to find themselves in a world of hurt when we have our election in 2 days on Tuesday in New Jersey and in Virginia. So look, again, the optics of this are horrible for the Democrats when the Republicans are saying we're just trying to open up the government. That's all we're trying to do. And the Democrats are saying, no, we want to hold you hostage on this.
We want to be in charge in government so we can blame everyone else. That's what the Republicans are saying. I think the American people are not stupid.
Actually, Schumer and the other leaders of your party say differently. They say we have leverage. We're holding this as leverage. That's what they've called it.
So this is where you come to the negotiating table and you negotiate. The fact that they're going to give in and say, yeah, we'll negotiate down the road with someone that has said that they will not, They have not said that. They haven't given us anything what they're going to do towards the Affordable Care Act and making sure that it's stronger. They've refused to do that.
I think what we saw happen with Senator Schumer in March is the very reason why the government is not open. He was threatened with a primary. That's why the government is not open right now, playing politics with American people's lives.
David, let me get your take on one more thing before we have to go. We do see Treasury Secretary Bessent today signaling President Trump could restart SNAP funding by Wednesday. Do you see that happening?
Well, I would hope so. The president has found exceptions to try to pay our members of the military, which is great. But look, SNAP has never been something that the president has supported. In fact, the big, beautiful bill cut benefits for SNAP and other types of social safety net benefits. So the stoppage of the government is exacerbating these problems, but it's the policies that this president has been pushing that have made the situation worse.
And David, very quickly, we saw the president speak live on Friday, and an offhand comment he made is that it is Democrats who use SNAP, so it's really going to hurt Democrats. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, again, it's playing politics. It's very unfortunate. That's not a factual statement. Both Republicans and Democrats across this country use SNAP. In fact, in many red states, they depend on it more because there's less benefits from the state that's chipping in. But no state can run SNAP on its own. It needs the federal government. It's a tragedy. And you heard Senator Fetterman talk about the lines down the road. I just think it's absurd when you have all the branches of government, all of the power, and you want to pass the blame. The president takes all the credit whenever anything good happens, but when anything bad, he's passing the buck. And that's what this president does, never accepts responsibility. He's never made a mistake that he's actually taken credit for. We've never heard that. But yet he's the master chief in blamer is what I would call him. He's great at passing the buck, but can't take responsibility. Right. He's got to roll up his sleeves. He controls Speaker Johnson like a puppet master. We all know that. So he could easily get this government moving again, but he refuses not to. And that's unfortunate.
I regret we're out of time, but David Carlucci, Amanda Mackey, appreciate you both. Thank you.
Good to be with you. Thanks.
And on Tuesday.